The Plaza Hotel stood high above the streets of Oslo, Norway. It was the kind of place where diplomats stayed, business executives, government officials, people who valued privacy. The staff had seen thousands of guests come and go over the years. Most of them were quickly forgotten. But one guest would become the hotel's greatest mystery. It was late on the afternoon of May 31st, 1995. The lobby was calm. Soft piano music echoed through the marble hallways as guests quietly checked in. Then a woman walked through the revolving doors. She was alone. Nothing about her appearance suggested that, within a few days, investigators across Europe would be asking a single question. Who was she? She looked confident, not nervous, not hurried. She carried herself like someone who had stayed in expensive hotels many times before. She wore elegant clothing. Everything about her appearance suggested she was educated, organized, and financially comfortable. She approached the reception desk with a calm smile. When the receptionist asked for her name, she answered without hesitation. Jennifer Fairgate. She also gave an address in Belgium. Nothing seemed unusual, except she never presented a passport. Today, that would immediately raise suspicion. But in 1995, hotel procedures were different. The receptionist accepted the information she provided. Jennifer signed the registration card, received the key to room 2805, and disappeared into the elevator. No one realized that almost every piece of information she had just provided was false. The Plaza Hotel was known for discretion. Employees rarely questioned wealthy guests. People came and went every day. Some stayed only one night, others remained for weeks. Jennifer blended in perfectly. She wasn't loud, she wasn't demanding, she didn't attract attention. In fact, that may have been exactly what she wanted. Over the next few days, staff members noticed only small details. She kept the "Do Not Disturb" sign hanging outside her door almost constantly. Housekeeping was rarely allowed inside. When towels or supplies were needed, she preferred that they be left outside. No conversations, no unnecessary contact. She seemed determined to keep everyone at a distance. At first, this didn't seem suspicious. Business travelers often valued their privacy. But one employee would later tell investigators something they could never forget. Whenever Jennifer opened the door, she never opened it completely, only a few inches, just enough to reach outside, as though she never wanted anyone to see inside room 2805. Or perhaps she didn't want anyone to see who might have been inside with her. No one could say for sure. Days passed. Guests checked out. New guests arrived. Life inside the hotel continued exactly as normal, until one sound changed everything. On the evening of June 3rd, hotel staff heard what they believed was a loud bang coming from the upper floors. Some thought it was construction. Others assumed a heavy object had fallen. No one imagined it was a gunshot. Nearly 24 hours later, housekeeping noticed something strange. Room 2805 still displayed the "Do Not Disturb" sign. No one had seen Jennifer leave. No room service had been ordered. No telephone calls had been made. The room had become completely silent. A security employee knocked gently. No answer. He knocked again. Still nothing. Using a master key, he slowly unlocked the door. The room appeared almost untouched. The television was still on. A lamp illuminated the corner of the room. Clothes were neatly arranged. The bed showed signs of use. And then, he looked toward the bed. A woman lay there, perfectly still. A pistol rested beside her hand. There was blood on the pillow. Jennifer Fairgate was dead. The first assumption seemed obvious. a suicide, a locked hotel room, a firearm, a woman traveling alone. Case closed. But within hours, that simple explanation began to fall apart. Police searched the room carefully. What they discovered would transform an ordinary death investigation into one of Europe's most baffling unsolved mysteries. Because Jennifer Fairgate appeared to have entered the hotel without ever existing. The first detectives arrived just after midnight. At first glance, nothing appeared unusual. There were no signs of a violent struggle. The furniture remained exactly where it belonged. No broken glass, no overturned chairs, no desperate attempt to escape. It was almost too perfect. One detective later described the room with a single sentence. It looked less like a crime scene and more like a stage that had been carefully prepared. The woman was lying on the bed. She was dressed in a dark blazer and elegant skirt. Her shoes had been removed neatly and placed on the floor. The pistol rested beside her right hand. Everything seemed arranged, almost deliberately. Then investigators noticed something strange. There was no luggage, not at first. Most hotel guests arrive with suitcases, especially guests planning to stay several nights. But room 2805 looked almost empty. There were only a few personal belongings scattered around the room. Toothpaste, a bottle of perfume, some cosmetics. Nothing unusual. Nothing that revealed who she really was. Then the forensic team began checking the wardrobe. Inside, they found several pieces of expensive clothing, each carefully folded, each appearing almost new. But one detail immediately caught their attention. Every clothing label had been professionally removed, every single one. Not torn, not ripped, cut away with precision. The lead investigator frowned. This wasn't normal. People don't remove every label from every piece of clothing, not unless they don't want anyone tracing where those clothes came from. That discovery changed the entire direction of the investigation. Whoever Jennifer Fairgate really was, she had gone to extraordinary lengths to erase her identity. But why? The detectives searched every pocket, every drawer, every corner of the room. No passport, no driver's license, no credit cards, no family photographs, no handwritten notes, nothing. Only cash. Enough to pay for the hotel, nothing more. One detective quietly said, "It's as if she checked into this hotel, carrying only the things she wanted us to find." The room became even stranger. There were no fingerprints belonging to anyone else. No evidence that another guest had entered. No indication of forced entry. Yet several members of the hotel staff later told police something they hadn't considered important at the time. More than once, they believed they had heard two different voices coming from room 2805. A woman's voice and a man's voice. But nobody had ever seen a man enter. Investigators reviewed hotel records. Nothing. No visitor had been registered. No security camera clearly showed anyone accompanying Jennifer. Was someone secretly inside the room? Or had the staff simply mistaken the sound of the television? No one could answer. Then came one of the most disturbing discoveries of the entire case. When police examined Jennifer's registration card, they decided to verify the address she had written. It didn't exist. The street was real. The city was real. But the house number belonged to no one. It was false. Detectives checked her telephone number. It was false. They checked her name. No records, no passport, no driver's license, no tax information. Nothing. The woman who had spent days living in one of Oslo's most luxurious hotels had apparently never existed. One investigator later admitted, "We weren't trying to identify a victim anymore. We were trying to prove she had ever been alive." That sentence would haunt the investigation for decades, because every new clue only created another impossible question. If Jennifer Fairgate wasn't her real name, then who had walked through those hotel doors? And perhaps even more unsettling, Who had expected her to never leave alive? The investigation quickly spread beyond the walls of the Plaza Hotel. Detectives contacted authorities in Belgium. If Jennifer Fairgate had really lived there, someone would know her. A family, a neighbor, an employer, anyone. Days passed. Then the reply arrived. The address didn't belong to Jennifer Fairgate. In fact, no one by that name had ever lived there. The identity she had written on the hotel registration card was completely false. For the investigators, that changed everything. They were no longer investigating the death of a tourist. They were investigating someone who had deliberately hidden her identity long before she arrived in Norway. The forensic examination continued. Every object inside room 2805 was photographed. Every fingerprint was collected. Every fiber was examined. But the evidence refused to tell a clear story. The handgun found beside Jennifer was identified as a Belgian-made Browning High Power. It wasn't registered to her. No documents connected the weapon to any known owner. More importantly, there was no obvious explanation for how she had obtained it. The gun itself became another mystery. Who gave it to her? Why was she carrying it? And why would someone traveling under a false identity choose to bring such a distinctive weapon? Then investigators noticed something else. Jennifer's clothing showed surprisingly little wear. The shoes looked almost new. Several garments appeared as though they had been purchased recently. But once again, every manufacturer label had been carefully removed. This wasn't random. It was systematic. Someone had taken time, care, and precision to erase every possible clue. One detective later admitted that it almost felt as if someone had studied police investigations before. Whoever Jennifer really was, she understood exactly how investigators traced identities. The medical examiner found another detail that made detectives pause. Jennifer appeared healthy, well-nourished. She had clearly taken care of herself. There were no obvious signs that she had been living a chaotic or desperate life. Her hands suggested she wasn't someone who performed heavy physical labor. Her appearance suggested discipline, routine, control. Nothing about her resembled a person whose life had suddenly fallen apart. Yet, she was lying dead inside a luxury hotel under a false name. As investigators reconstructed her final days, witnesses began coming forward. A hotel employee remembered seeing Jennifer in the elevator. She wasn't carrying shopping bags. She wasn't sightseeing. She wasn't behaving like a tourist. Another witness recalled that she spent long periods simply looking out of the window of her room, watching the city below, watching people come and go, almost as if she was waiting for someone, or perhaps making sure someone wasn't watching her. Then came one of the strangest discoveries. Police reviewed the hotel's keycard records. Room 2805 had been opened several times during Jennifer's stay, but there were gaps, periods where investigators could not fully explain who entered, or exactly when. Some researchers later questioned whether the hotel security records were complete enough to reconstruct every movement. Those uncertainties became fertile ground for speculation. Was someone else in the room? Or were investigators simply dealing with the limitations of hotel technology in 1995? No definitive answer has ever emerged. As the days turned into weeks, the investigation grew colder. Newspapers across Europe published Jennifer's photograph. Police appealed to the public. Thousands of people saw her face. Nobody came forward to claim her. No missing person report matched. No family recognized her. It was as though she had appeared in Oslo from nowhere and disappeared forever. One senior investigator reportedly reflected on the case with a chilling observation. Normally, we're looking for a killer. In this case, we were still looking for the victim. And that may have been the most disturbing part of all. The woman in room 2805 had died. But decades later, the world still couldn't answer the simplest question. Who was Jennifer Fairgate? The deeper investigators looked, the less Jennifer Fairgate resembled an ordinary hotel guest. Every new piece of evidence seemed carefully designed to answer one question, while creating two more. The investigators returned to the room again and again. They measured every distance, photographed every angle, reconstructed every movement they believed had taken place inside room 2805. Yet something refused to make sense. If Jennifer had planned to end her own life, why had she checked into one of the most expensive hotels in Norway using a false identity? Why stay for several days? Why erase every clue about who she was, long before her death? Nothing about her actions suggested panic. Everything suggested preparation. Police expanded the investigation across Europe. Her fingerprints were compared against criminal databases. Nothing. Immigration records. Nothing. Missing persons reports. Nothing. Military records. Nothing. Intelligence agencies quietly checked their own files. Nothing. It was as if Jennifer Fairgate had appeared in Oslo from another life and disappeared just as suddenly. One detective later admitted something that rarely happens in a homicide investigation. We had a body, but we didn't even know whose death we were investigating. Journalists became fascinated by the case. Newspapers printed her photograph again and again. Television programs asked viewers to identify the mysterious woman. Years passed. Thousands of tips arrived. Most led nowhere. One witness believed she had seen Jennifer in Germany. Another insisted she spoke fluent German without an accent. Someone else claimed she was Belgian. Another believed she was Austrian. Every lead contradicted the last. The more people searched for Jennifer Fairgate, the less certain anyone became that she had ever been Jennifer Fairgate at all. As the years passed, a theory began to grow quietly among investigators and researchers. What if she wasn't hiding from someone? What if she was hiding for someone? The Cold War had officially ended only a few years earlier. Europe was changing. Intelligence networks were still active. False identities, coded travel, carefully planned movements. None of these were impossible. But there was never enough evidence to prove that Jennifer had any connection to espionage. Only questions. Always questions. Another theory suggested something completely different. Perhaps Jennifer was simply a woman desperate to disappear, someone escaping her past, someone who believed the only way to become truly invisible was to erase every trace of the person she once was. But that theory had its own problems. If she wanted to vanish forever, why choose a luxury hotel? Why leave behind a mystery guaranteed to attract international attention? It didn't fit. Nearly 30 years have passed since the woman checked into room 2805. Technology has changed. DNA science has advanced. Databases have grown larger than investigators in 1995 could have imagined. Yet despite all of that, Jennifer Fairgate remains unidentified. Her real name is still unknown. No family has ever convincingly claimed her. No government has officially identified her. No document has explained why she came to Oslo. And no one has answered the question that started it all. Who was the woman who walked calmly through the doors of the Oslo Plaza Hotel, knowing that only a few days later, the entire world would know her face, but never her name? Maybe one day, a forgotten photograph, an old passport, or a DNA match will finally tell investigators who Jennifer really was. Or perhaps, the truth disappeared with her, inside room 2805. Because sometimes, the most terrifying mysteries are not the ones with monsters. They're the ones with ordinary people, who somehow manage to erase themselves completely. And somewhere, buried inside an evidence box in Norway, room 2805 is still waiting for someone to tell Jennifer Fairgate's real story. Or perhaps, no one ever will.